We were Catholic, but we never went to church. We were Catholic by name. I went to a movie theater and I see this beautiful family. They look religious. They look so happy. And that caught my attention. When I was about 16, 17, there was a tryout for the Mexican national soccer team under 17. I went for the tryout and it looked like I did pretty well. I was the youngest player and I was the fastest in the whole league. In my team, they used to bully me a lot for that. I started feeling a little bit of like the dream that I had to play soccer is not really fulfilling me. Something was missing. This is when things get tricky because then I turned to Judaism. Why Judaism? I could have gone to Christianity. I could have gone to, I don't know, any other religion. Later on, I found out that we came maybe, is very probably from Marranos.
Hi everyone, I'm Menachem Learfield, and this is 0%, where we explore the outsized impact of the Jewish people. This season, we've been focusing on stories of Jews by choice, and we are honored to have with us today Israel Janez Yisrael. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to be here, and hopefully we can all learn a little bit about my personal story, I guess.
Yeah. Why don't you take us back? So where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Mexico City. Actually, in a place called Cuernavaca, which is 45 minutes from Mexico City. And I moved to the States when I was 21.
Okay. And then walk us through your story with Judaism. Where and when did that begin?
When I was about 16, 17, first of all, I'm going to take you a little back. When I was young, and as far as I remember, I had a dream. My dream was to be a soccer player, like a good Mexican native. That's probably the only sport that we have in Mexico. So I used to watch soccer all the time. And when I was about 3, 4 years old, it was the World Cup in Mexico. So the family used to get together and we were all excited to see the World Cup. And I think from then, my dream was always to be a soccer player. So my parents have pictures of me when I'm like 2, 3, 4, every birthday, I have a soccer cake. And I'm always wearing soccer shoes. I do remember that when I was little, and my father used to say, let's go for a little jog or something like that. So I used to tell my father, I want to wear my soccer shoes. And my father was like, not all the time, take it easy. But that was my dream. And
We just eat, breathe, and sleep soccer.
Yeah, that was basically it. I recently spoke in the school and I told the girls that when I used to go to school, you didn't find me in the classroom. I was all the time playing, running, not necessarily just soccer, but I'm very into sports, even basketball, I remember. So I used to get detention once in a while because my teachers wanted me in the classroom. And slowly, my father, I guess, he saw that maybe I had potential to fulfill my dream. When I was like about 14, 15, he registered me in a club, a professional club, which kids start from very young. And slowly, I saw that my dream was becoming closer and closer.
Was this like an after school thing or this is during school? How did that work?
So it was school in the morning and practice in the afternoons. And every afternoon there was a practice. And then slowly I went into the third division, which is already professional, but maybe the lowest division. And I played there and I won a tournament. And people were excited and people were saying, you have a lot of potential, you have future. And people used to go speak to my father.
How old are you at this point?
I was about 13, 14 years old. and and that was all my dream. Like I just wanted to become a soccer player, and at some point I had to decide if I had to continue school or because now the practices went into the morning. So at some point I went to practice in the morning. My parents switched me from morning school to afternoon school, and after that, like I started like being successful, and I started traveling also a lot. So school, it was very difficult for me now. When I was about 16, 17, there was a tryout for the national soccer team, the Mexican national soccer team under 17. I went for the tryout and it looked like I did very well. So now they used to call me every week to go also for the national. And this is for like big events, World Cups, under 17 tournaments outside of Mexico. Like we used to travel a lot. And I started traveling a lot, South America, South Africa, Asia, uh, many places, um, Australia, New Zealand. Actually,
Wow.
I played a World Cup in 1999 in New Zealand under 17.
What was that like?
It was amazing. It was like my dream. Hundreds or thousands of people cheering for you against you. It was amazing. It was like a dream. Believe me, I used to walk into the field and it was like, it was, I'm dreaming. Somebody please pinch me because I'm dreaming. Um, I remember the first three games were very difficult. The third game was against Spain, and nobody gave us a chance to win that game. Spain already had players playing for Real Madrid, for the big teams in Europe. So we won that game. And then the next game, it
You
was
won the
against
game?
USA. Yeah, we won one nothing.
Wow.
And the next game, it was against USA. And we used to play USA all the time. And we used to beat them all the time. And it was like, for us, it was like a piece of cake. You know, USA don't know about football. The only football they know is with the hand. So we got it. So the game started, and then we started like winning 1-0, and then they tied the game 1-1, and then they started winning 2-1, 3-1, and then I scored the 3-2. There were like 20 minutes left, and we at the end we lost that game, and it was a big chance for me to start playing. Also, before that game, my agent contacted me saying that there were people in Spain interested in me. But he said that my team, the one I was playing in Mexico at the time, they will only let me go if we won that game against USA. And the reason is because money. The more you, the further you get into the World Cup, the more value is for the player. So we lost that game. There was no chance that I could have gone to Spain. I spoke to the people in my team. They will say, no, the money that they're offering is not enough. And I believe that was a big call from God that at that time I didn't understand so well.
At the time, you were probably devastated. I mean, that was really.
Very devastated. Like we couldn't believe that we lost that game. And I went back to Mexico, and the most popular team in Mexico, which is called Chivas, is only Mexicans who play in that team. They were interested in me. And also that was also devastating because of some arrangement. Everything is about money. When you're in sport, and at the time I didn't understand so much. Now I understand, but at that time I was like 16, 17, and it looked like everything was always because of money. And I just wanted to play. I just wanted to be famous. I wanted to travel, and that was my dream. And for some reason, it didn't happen. And at that point, I started feeling a little bit of like the dream that I had to play soccer. is not really fulfilling me. There's something in it that is not 100%. Maybe some emptiness, something was missing.
It's almost like you were
The
chasing this your whole life since that little 4-year-old watching the World Cup. And now you're finally
right.
there, like at the cusp of realizing that dream. And it didn't feel like the way you thought it was going to feel.
Yeah, it felt amazing. But maybe my teammates, the environment, it was very dirty. So that like pulled me back a little bit. Like is this is gonna be like always all the time? There was a lot of bully. I was the youngest player. When I played professionally, I was 17. And people just to interview me all the time because I was the youngest player and I was the fastest in the whole league. So in my team, they used to bully me a lot for that. And I didn't like that. And I started feeling a little bit of emptiness, like something is missing in my life. And this is when things get tricky because then I turned to Judaism. I grew up in a house with, we were Catholic, but we never went to church. We were Catholic by name. I never went to church. Um, we weren't so like a religious family.
Well, your religion was soccer, it sounds like.
100%. So that's when this there was a shift in my life. I don't know why I was so disappointed about my soccer career. And I started looking for something, and I don't know why I turned into a religion. And not only that, but why Judaism? I could have gone to Christianity. I could have gone to, I don't know, any other religion. But I believe that there was a pull because later on, I found out that we had some, we came maybe, is very probably from Marranos. And it could have been that that pull was coming from my ancestors.
Wow. And for those who aren't familiar, so Marranos are Jews that went into hiding and kind of practiced Jewish practices and rituals while on the outside pretending to be Christians, but internally still remaining true to their Jewish faith. And a lot of them, I guess, from Spain ended up moving out towards South America, Mexico. So you have reason to believe that was, you had...
Yeah. When we converted, when I say we, it was me, my sister. I have another brother also who converted, my brother-in-law. When we converted, we went through a process.
And you guys converted all together? Meaning, walk us through this process. Like you said, you grew up in a Catholic family that was not really so practicing. Did you know any Jews growing up?
So the first time I saw Jewish people, it was at the movie theater. I went to a movie theater and I see this beautiful family. They look religious, and it was the father, the mother with a bunch of kids, and they look so happy. And that was the first time I saw Jewish people, and that caught my attention.
How did you even know they were Jewish?
So even though we they were wearing yarmulke, a kippah, and that's the first time I saw somebody that is like, I saw the yarmulke for the first time. So I guess there was no internet back then, or not, at least not like it is right now. But I did my research, and from then on, I used to like to go to the movie theaters just to see if I will see like Jewish people. And then I found out that going to the movie theaters Saturday night, it was the best time to see Jewish people. And there was a kosher restaurant, and I used to go just to see them. And it was so beautiful, and it was so attractive to me. And I believe that the blood that was pulling me towards something that probably was already there.
How old were you with that first interaction when you saw that Jewish family for the first time?
I would say between 15, 16 years old.
So it was really when your soccer career was taking off as well.
Yeah. And then what is funny is that one time the Jewish people in Mexico, um, they're known for being wealthy. So they hire a professional soccer team to play a game against the Jewish community, which it was my team. And it was like a JCC kind of thing. And there were a lot of Jewish people. And it was like, you can see that God is like, how do you tell? He helping, like he was guiding me towards Jewish people. So that day, I remember I was just like waiting to get into the game. And there was a rabbi who was doing Kirov, who was trying to bring Jewish people close to the religion. And then he says that there's some Jewish people that don't even know they're Jewish. They come from Marranos. And he was saying the sign sometimes is that a mother might light candles on Friday night. And I remember my grandmother doing that.
Oh, wow.
So I overheard that and I went to him and I said, well, my grandmother does that. And he says, oh, really? And he wasn't so excited to speak to me. He was speaking to all the Jewish people. But he said, you might be Jewish. And then he said, I remember asking him for his phone number. He gave it to me. And he was my contact throughout the process. And then when I contact him saying, how can I go about? How can I go further? He told me something which it was very hard for me. He said that in Mexico, most of the Jewish people are from Syria, Syrian Jews,
I didn't know
and
that.
they don't accept people converting to Judaism. And he says, if you really want to follow your dream to become Jewish, you will have to move from Mexico. And he said, you might have to move. I remember he said US, Canada, or Israel. At that time, I was like 17, 18 when I just signed a contract. When you begin your soccer career, you sign a contract for 3 years. So I signed my first contract 17 and I had a contract till 20. So it was very clear in my mind that once my contract is finished, I'm going to do it.
Just like that.
Just like that. Like,
Did you know what that would entail? Did you know what that meant? Or you
no.
just felt
And
pulled
I'm glad I
towards...
didn't. Because if I did, I probably wouldn't do it. I was very young and I just felt that like I said, in those days, there was no internet. So I just started going to the Judaica in Mexico, buying books, trying to inform myself. And it was very attractive to me. I started learning about Shabbat, Sabbath.
And all on your own. This was just with books. Meaning you didn't have a teacher who was guiding you through that process. That was really all self.
The only person that I had was that rabbi that told me that if you want to convert, you need to immigrate. Which I was 100% sure that I'm going to do it. At the same time, with my soccer career, I started feeling more emptiness and more empty. It might be because my dream already shifted. I was a little disappointed about the soccer career, and it was a dirty environment, which I felt I didn't fit in it. And it's funny because nowadays when I see kids, sometimes they said, "Oh, this player, this basketball player, or this football player is amazing," or some. For me, I know what's inside of the person, and it's not attractive to me anymore. I'm not saying I don't. I love sports. I don't play so much anymore, but I do watch. But to say that so and so is my idol, like people express themselves, I'm far from that. From that, because I believe it's a lot of emptiness, a lot of dirty in the world.
Well, you've seen it from the inside, which many of us don't get to do. So you get a
Right.
very different
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. So I lived it. So when I was 20, about 21, I told my parents that I was going to move to America. And many people asked me, why did you come to Denver? My sister moved also to Denver 3 months before I did.
How did she end up in Denver?
I believe my brother-in-law had family in Denver at the time, and that would be a help that they could come to a place because we really like, even though we used to come visit America, I remember I went to Disneyland when I was little and things like that. Like we didn't know, we didn't have any family.
So when you told your parents you were moving to the US, did you tell them you were moving to America in order to pursue a conversion to Judaism, or you just said you wanted to move to America?
So yeah, I told them my plan.
And how
I
did they
told them
take
I
it?
want. So at the time it was very hard. The way I express people is like, imagine you go tell your parents, I'll be back. I'm going to convert to Christianity. So your parents might be like, they pull you back and say, where are you going? So even though they probably saw it already coming because they saw my desire and the desire of my sister, it was very hard at that time.
And your sister's journey is was connected to yours, or she was really on her own path, her own journey? Meaning, did she
So
get
it was,
connected and involved because you were connected and involved, or did she?
so I believed it was shoulder to shoulder. It was the two of us together. And probably if she wouldn't do it, probably I wouldn't do it, and vice versa. So we did it together. And it was the decision that we were pretty sure that we wanted to do this. Just the last fly before when I came to America, I said a goodbye to my parents, and it was a very hard moment. In Mexico, the culture is that families live together. Um, the way I grew up is that you have your grandmother a few blocks from where you live, and you have cousins, so you have the whole family is just around the block. So just to hear that he's moving to America, it was like, ew, I didn't know where I was going. And I remember, and it's very clear to me in my mind when I went into that airplane, how difficult it was. It was basically what God told Abraham, Lech Lecha,
Just go.
where, just go. I don't know where the destination is. And it was very difficult. And many people say, we know that our sages say that when somebody converts, it's like a newborn. And I can tell you that's 100% true because I really experienced that. Um, Even with the language, I didn't know how to speak English. So even how I learned how to speak in a different place,
Hmm.
how to go about, I didn't know the city. Many things I didn't know. It was very hard. But finally we went and we met the Rav of the congregation, and
Here
he
in
saw our
Denver?
heart in Denver, and he saw our heart, and he said, I'm going to help you with this. And he used to say to us all the time, most likely you're already Jewish. He was very nice with us. And it was a year, like a year and a half, the full process where we used to go into the synagogue, and there is a rule that when somebody wants to convert, um, you don't accept him right away. So the synagogue did a wonderful job with that too. So not many people invited us for Shabbos. It was very difficult moments, but very worth it. I can tell you that.
And you went
And
through the
if
process
you
together with your sister and her husband?
yeah, it was the three of us. And later on, like 5 years later, my brother came into the picture as well. Um, but if you allow me to tell you this story, which is unbelievable, when I came to America, my father let me go with the condition that I wouldn't take any money from my soccer day. So we struggle with money. I started going from door to door looking for a job. I was It was very hard to find something. So finally, I found a job as a cashier in downtown in a restaurant. Um, so it was the third day morning before I went to work, and my sister told me that there was no we didn't have any money to buy food for Shabbat. And I remember asking her, "What do we have at home?" And she said, "We have some bread, we have like water." It was going to be very simple. And I said, "Okay, so let it be." So that day I went to work. I went to take the bus, and it was snowing very, very much. So I went to work, and that day it was a very busy day at the restaurant. And I was helping everybody there. I was helping people cleaning the table, people cleaning the dishes, and at the same time go to the register and go and deliver for somebody. And it was very difficult that day. It was very hard. At the end of the day, everybody gave me tip. The dishwasher gave me tips, and the delivery guy gave me tip. So I made $43. And my sister comes to pick me up, and I'm so excited that I made $43 a day. And I said, let's go to kosher deli to buy some kosher food for Shabbos. And we are so excited, and we come into kosher deli, and every item that we saw there, it was like going to Disneyland, that everything is so desirable. You want to just take everything. And we started taking chicken and meat and all the items that you need for Shabbos. And at the end, my sister said, do you think we have enough money to take this cake? And I said, just take it. Worst scenario, just put it back. So we go to the cashier to pay, and he starts ringing all the items slowly, slowly. And then at the end, he rings the cake, and then he smiled. And and my sister and I were like so tense with so much anxiety that we're gonna have enough money or not. So I said, "What is the smile about?" And she says to me, "It's the first time I have an even number." And I said, "How much?" And she said, "It's $43."
Wow.
At that moment, it was a message from God telling us, "I'm here with you too, and I'm gonna be with you for the rest of the journey." It was a beautiful story. Um, After I converted, I went to Israel to learn in yeshiva, which at the same time, it was personally, it was a little disappointment because I went to yeshiva to learn the word of God, and the first book they make me open is a Gemara, a Talmud, and they started learning about how a ox gores a cow.
Like, this is
And
not what I
I was
signed up
like,
for.
no. I'm like, what is this? I'm here to listen, very deep mysteries of the world. And what am I learning here? It takes time. It takes time. It took me a long time, actually, to really connect to the
Where did you
Talmud
go in Israel?
or Sameach.
Oh, very nice.
I went to Or Sameach, and I went there for 2.5 years.
What years
I
were you
was
talking
about,
about?
oops. So I've been married for 16 years. I will say 18 years ago, I was in Or Sameach. 18 to 20 years ago, I was in Or Sameach. I had a wonderful time. Israel is a beautiful place. I was so happy there. I thought I will make my life there. I came after my second year. It was 2.5 years. I came to visit my sister, she was living in Denver at the time. And then I met my wife. And it was also a dream that was part of my dream. My biggest dream was to be part of a Jewish family, to celebrate the Sabbath together. Um, and every time the Sabbath comes, for me is a dream. I don't take it for granted. I don't take for granted and the food that is on the table, my wife, my kids. It's. I don't know if there's anything more beautiful than is at the Shabbos table. Um, and we get to celebrate every week, and it's a beautiful moment. It's a special moment. It's a moment that I work so hard for it, and every week I just enjoy very much with my family.
Would you say it's interesting? So many of our guests, when I ask them the question, if there's one thing that you can point to that really draws you in when it comes to Judaism, one thing that, you appreciate the most, would you say it's Shabbos?
I would say Shabbat,
It's so interesting
and
how many of our guests, said the same thing.
it's so special because Shabbat is family time, and I gave up my family in Mexico, but I acquire a a beautiful family i- within Judaism. I appreciate my kids. I appreciate my wife, everything they do. And I'm so thankful to God for this opportunity that he gave me to be part of the Jewish nation.
Well, we're very fortunate to have you on board. It's people like you that makes the Jewish people what they are.
Yeah, and I learned so much from Jewish people. There is so much to learn from Jewish people. They teach me a lot, and I learn, and I like to learn. I like to observe. I like to see people. I like to go to gatherings and see how the Jewish people behave. And the Jewish people is it's a different nation. I can tell you that. And it's coming from somebody that was outside the box. It was outside in the world. I really went all over the world. Um, I traveled the world. It's a beautiful world, but there is nothing like the Jewish people.
Wow. Did your father ever come to terms with everything? I mean, three of his children became Jewish. What happened? What was your parents' process through all that?
Right now, they're very thankful that we took this journey. And when you see in this world, which is a very difficult world, and when my parents see my cousins and the journey they took, um, and then their my cousins' kids, um, sometimes involving in areas that they're not they're very difficult. When you're not in the Jewish world, you are just going through the world without a GPS. And when my parents see me, my sister, my brother, and we all have our family, just to know where my kids are on Friday night is a blessing.
Yeah, I bet.
Many people don't know where their kids are Friday night. And that's what the really Judaism gives you. It gives you a peace of mind. And that's what the Torah is about.
Do they visit often? Do your parents come to America to visit you guys, or do you go
So
there? Do
they
you
come
see them?
visit. We also go there, but they come visit. They try to come once a year, and they usually come even though they don't celebrate, but they come for a festivity. Sometimes they come for Sukkot, because sometimes they come for Passover, and it's it's a beautiful moment because now they see their cousins playing. They see a beautiful environment.
Where does your brother live?
My brother and my sister live in Cincinnati right now.
Okay,
And my brother, he does Kiruv. I don't know how do you say Kiruv.
outreach.
Uh, outreach. And my sister also works for the school in Cincinnati. She's a teacher there.
Oh wow, that's really something.
Yeah, yeah. It's a special family.
So, did you ever think this was going to be your life? Rewind and take us back to that 4-year-old kid watching the World Cup. Could you ever have dreamed that this is the way your life would have turned out?
For sure not. For sure not. I thought that I was going to play soccer for the rest of my life. Even when I was like 60, 70, that was my dream back then. And I don't think I ever imagined that I will be um, away from my family, but at the same time in a different journey. Like I said, like with a GPS now. And I'm very happy that I took this journey. Is the best journey.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Israel, for being here and for sharing your story with us. If it's okay with you, we'll put some of your contact information in the show notes so people can reach out to you directly if they have any questions or comments or want to reach out to you directly, if that's okay. And
I really appreciate the invitation. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of my story. And hopefully we can all grow and be better with this little story.
I hope so. That's the goal. That's the goal. So if you're listening, thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for listening. If you're new to this show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. Share it with a friend. Leave a review so others can find it as well. And we hope to see you back here next month for 0%. You can now catch all 6 of our Joy podcasts at joydenver.com/podcasts. And again, that link will also be in the show notes. So thank you so much. Be well and have a great day.